5 seconds to go. Sidesteps one. Meerman's got a bit of space. He's got to take a shot. Meerman shoots. He scores! Brett Meerman with time expiring. Yep. It's 2-0 Blackfalds.
Yeah, I think it was good. I think it was good. He let the shot go. Obviously, there's zeros on the clock, but I think it was good. I think the puck went in the net before.
Fakes the shot. Meerman takes the shot. Scores! Brett Meerman ties the game! 17 seconds to go. He puts it through Max Prasma. Oh, captain, my captain, it's 2-2. Flying into the attacking zone. Drop pass to David Brandis. Brandis back to Meerman in front. Meerman, he scores! Brett Meerman ties the game. It's 2-2. What a finish on a great pass from David Brandis. And Blackfalds are back even.
Okay, we're talking to the graduates. We're talking to Brett Meerman. So, Mearsy, you played for Doug in the 18-19 season, and you had a lot of personal success that year. You were 4th in scoring in that league, and you guys, great showing for you in the playoffs, great showing for you in the Max tournament. So from there, it was your junior career. You played 2 years in GP. So what was the transition like to move from, you're from Blackfalds, so you played U18 in Red Deer, you moved to Grand Prairie. So what was it like moving away and living in GP for those 2 years?
It was good. Actually, right before that, I was in Salmon Arm for 2 months.
Of course,
but I couldn't play because of the paperwork stuff, so that was kind of all over the place. And then I made the 10-hour drive from there to GP in my little car. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was pretty packed. And so it was pretty wild, but I got there the first night and instant connection with the billets. They were like, shout out to Tessa and Kyle, actually, they're beauties. Yeah. They were like 29 at the time, so it was like everyone kind of joked around calling it like the frat house. Like we kind of, it's just like hanging out with people. Yeah, it was fun though. Welcomed me with open arms. It was a fun experience in GP though. It was a lot like Red Deer actually, except like being 5 hours away from everything. But yeah, it was a good experience. Obviously, our team wasn't great those 2 years. Or the 1 year we were actually pretty good, but our first year was kind of a struggle. But obviously the adjustment to the hockey was a little different, and it was kind of a struggle for me. I didn't score my first goal until December or something. But yeah, a lot of growth since then. It's been fun.
So summer of 2021, expansion teams coming in your hometown, right? You were from Blackfalds and you played Blackfalds Minor, so you played in the other half of this building.
Yeah.
So this rink gets built, and did you know when the team was announced that this is kind of where you were going to end up, or how did that come together that summer?
Actually, so when it first came out, I was kind of I don't know, because the whole part of junior experience for me, at the beginning was I was I want to live away from home, have that experience, you know what I mean? And when it first came out that Blackfalds, I was I don't know, it'd be kind of weird living at home. But I had 2 years away. The 1 year was the COVID year where I was there for 9 months. So I had that whole experience of living away from home. So, but then that summer, obviously, asked for a trade out of GP, and then when this became a team, I was obviously this is somewhere I want to be. So I'm happy we were able to pull that off because I've enjoyed my time here.
Yeah, so we were kind of just talking beforehand. You've played every game.
Yeah.
Playoffs, regular season, 2 seasons. It's kind of a crazy stat. You're the team's all-time leading scorer. It's going to be that way for a little while for sure. But your first year, you're 28-31, and it would be 28-31 and 2, I think, or 28-31 and 1. Mm-hmm. 5th place, 4 games in the first round. So tell me about that 2022 summer, because obviously you were coming back. You were pretty sure Seeds was coming back, right, Rosser and Joels, but overall, there was a lot of uncertainty because there was a lot of changes. So kind of tell me about the transition out of that first round loss to the Oilers into the summer, the off-season mode, and then coming back to camp, seeing all the new faces and how that transition was.
Yeah, it was obviously really good. I knew our staff was going to put in a lot of work to make some changes, for the better, and not just with the players, but with the guys, a group of guys in general. And I feel we did a really good job of that. Obviously, our season this year was way better than last year. But yeah, I don't know. It was just get ready for the season the way I could. I got to use the facility all summer, which was nice, and then come back in tip-top shape, ready to go. So I was happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2022-23. So I got a couple questions about this year, obviously. Yeah. So first, even coming into camp and starting the season, you had a lot of changes between September and December. So when did this group for you as the captain even like really feel like it fully came together?
It sounds weird, but it was a lot. We lost right before Christmas. I think we lost to Drayton Valley, and we had like a team meeting, and it was like a lot about like we discussed, like Tobes brought in this idea of principles over personality, and that was I feel like it was a big turning point for us. It was kind of everyone buying into the idea that the team is more important than your individual success, and not to say that anyone was thinking about only their personal stats and stuff like that, but it was just, I feel like that was a big key moment that like kind of changed everyone's thought process to like, we got to buy in here as a team, and I felt like that was the turning point that really molded this team together.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that specifically because maybe the midway part of November, early to mid-November to December was, and it's hard to say rough patch because you guys still got results and you guys were still playing well, but if you look at the season as a whole, that was the rough patch, right? And so you guys have that, go through that, come back from Christmas and are absolutely electric, right? I think you lost 3 games in the regular season. You only lost once in this building until the playoffs. So what was happening in that November to Christmas part, and then what happened after Christmas for you guys to just completely turn that ship around?
Yeah, I think that like the timing of that meeting was perfect.
Yeah.
Like we had it right before Christmas. We had a couple more practices. I don't even know if we had another game, but we might have. But anyways,
one more. You guys beat GP day after.
Yeah, so we had one more game, and we had kind of all bought in for that game. Like it was a tough game, like tight checking, whatever, but we ended up winning, and I felt like that was like huge going into break, kind of with that confidence and like confidence in each other and stuff like that. And then coming back, I feel like we all knew like what we had to do to be successful, and everyone bought in, and that's kind of what changed.
Yeah, absolutely. So for you, Seeds roster, that's now it, right? And you know, Wally comes in before camp. You and Seeds had played together with roster all year last year. It was you 3. Wally comes in before camp, and it ends up being you and Wally that basically stay together as a duo, right? A little bit of a rotating cast of that left winger on your line. It's been Seeds. It was Jaws until the playoffs, and even in the playoffs, Dicker, Plando. It's been a few guys, but you know, what can you tell me about Wally? Because 72 goals and 178 points.
Yeah.
That is you plus him this year, which is unreal.
Yeah.
So what can you tell me about him, and what can you tell me just about your relationship both off the ice and on the ice, and how you guys really, you know, clicked for that much success?
Yeah, obviously I feel like we're almost opposite players, but it worked well together. Like, he's a bigger guy, he uses his body, and he can put the puck in the net. And I'm a smaller guy. I like to kind of like shift around the ice and move the puck. I like to be a passer, and so I feel like he was a perfect addition for the team and me individually. Obviously, I couldn't have put up like the numbers I did without him because he had to put the puck in the net most of the time. So yeah, it was good to have him. I feel like he was a great addition. Locker room too, and our chemistry was good like on the ice, but it also built from like off the ice. Like obviously we were doing school together and stuff in the mornings and stuff like that. So he was a good teammate to have for me. So I felt like that was good.
So this year, and it maybe stings a little bit personally, you're only 3 short of the league lead, right? You finished 94 points in second. Wally gets 42 goals and 84 points. Do you think you guys were pushing each other? Like how much success you were both having together, but even just how much he was having pushed you, how much you were having pushed him?
Yeah, I felt like it was really good, and I knew those last 5-6 games or whatever that like Wally was close, and I think I maybe had 5 shots on goal the last 10 games because I was just looking for Wally every time. But obviously, yeah, I don't know, it was fun. Like we kind of knew those, but at the same time, the goal was to win hockey games, so sometimes it was just throwing that out the window. But yeah.
So when I'm asking Henny, Mitch, Hemer, and Wally this question, I can't really ask it the same way I can ask you because they've only been here this year. But, you know, from where I'm sitting and from knowing you guys and getting to know you guys closer to the end of the year, the culture in that room seems awesome, right? It totally does. And you were talking about the change at Christmas, and that's definitely contributing to it. But what can you say kind of as a whole of the way this culture has changed and how it got to where it is now? Because right now it seems awesome.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a lot more professional now. Like obviously the first year there was a lot of figuring out, and like obviously we didn't even have the rink for the first half of the year last year, so kind of just having like that stability to start like from here right at the start. Obviously we made a lot of changes, but I feel like a lot of other guys stepped up too. Like you think about the guys that like we brought in, like the Willix and all those guys, like they were really good additions to like the room and stuff like that. And I feel like everyone we brought in was welcomed with open arms. So I feel like that was a good way to start.
Yeah, absolutely. So you and your group of O2s, you're gone, right? And this team is kind of, the torch is getting passed, right? The team's getting turned over to Rosser and Jules, and you mentioned the Willix, Terry, and Codes are going to be part of that group. So what can you say about the hands that you're passing this torch into? And you're going to be watching from afar, obviously, but how this team is going to do with their leadership.
Yeah, oh, they'll be fine. Obviously, like Cody, teammate of the year, he'll be back. Terry, all them, like everyone knows what they got to do. Like you said, we've built a culture here, and they know the standard, and I feel like they'll pass on the standard to the new guys coming in as well. So I have full trust in those guys to carry the torch.
So last question, and I kind of asked you this when you got committed, but I'll ask you it again. Like, you're NCAA next year with Augustana. So a lot of guys go through like decades of a hockey career and they never play for an expansion team in their inaugural season. Yeah. You played for us last year in our inaugural season. You're playing for Augustana in their inaugural season next year. So it's just crazy that for you it's going to be 2 and 3 years. So are you excited to kind of step into Augustana and be part of that first group and be part of, like you said, like establishing that culture in that room and just and taking that to wherever you guys can take it, right? There's nothing there before. It's all you.
Yeah, absolutely. Super excited, obviously, and it's like I know that I'm a younger guy, like going in next year. Obviously, like I'll be a freshman, but it's nice to like go in like kind of knowing what to expect. Like obviously, you never know how the first couple of months are gonna go, or even the first year. But just like having this experience of being here before and kind of going through the same process, like it'll help me like be able to understand like what's going on and like that there's gonna be ups and downs and stuff like that. And that was a part of the process, like picking Augustana too, was they knew like I was a good character guy to build like that program, and so I don't know, yeah.
So last question for you, off the ice at Augustana, do you know what your classes are? Do you know what your degree you're going to pursue? Like, do you know where your goals in kind of that realm are going to be pointed at?
I'm not like 100% sure. I'll probably go into something like sports psychology. I don't know. I've kind of always, like everything I've done is kind of around hockey. So, but I feel like having sports psychology helped me get into coaching, stuff like that. After like Tobes always jokes around with me. Like I do video with some of the young guys like by myself after games and stuff. So, coaching's kind of always just kind of been a thing for me. So, obviously if hockey doesn't work out, I'd love to do that. But yeah, something along sports psychology will probably be what I'll do.
Yeah, sweet. So. Personally, you and I, like me and Scotty, we get here this year, right? You, Seeds, Rosser, Jaws, that room is established. And, I just wanted to thank you because you and your group have done an excellent job of making us feel home, making us feel like part of the family, and really making us feel like, we're comfortable with you guys. And it's led to us being able to do a bunch of fun stuff. And at the end of the year, like coming in this year, I didn't think it'd be as hard as it is going to be to kind of say goodbye to you guys, right? But, I'll be watching you at Augustana, I'll be cheering for you, and yeah. Thanks for everything, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Somebody.
Yeah.
Except for one game with the Salmon Arms Silverbacks in 2019, Brett Meerman has spent his entire 4-year junior career in the AJHL. He played 67 games in the regular season and playoffs with the Grand Prairie Storm between 2019 and 2021 before joining the Bulldogs in the summer of 2021 for their inaugural season. Meerman led the Bulldogs in points during the first year, being the only player on the roster to earn above a point per game average. This season, Brett finished first on the Bulldogs in points again, as well as finishing second in the AJHL scoring with 94 points in 60 games. To date, Brett is the only player in Bulldogs history to play in every single regular season and playoff game in franchise history. The Black Falls native leads the Bulldogs in regular season's game played, goals, assists, and points as a Bulldog. Brett committed to playing NCAA Division I hockey at Augustana University in November, where he'll attend school and continue his career next year. The entire Bulldogs organization wishes Brett the best moving forward.